Welcome to Unfuck Your Brain. I'm your host, Cara Lowenthal, Master Certified Coach and founder of the School of New Feminist Thought. I'm here to help you turn down your anxiety, turn up your confidence, and create a life on your own terms, one that you're truly excited to live. Let's go. Hello, my chickens. So it is summer. I am recording this from Dallas and it's 105 degrees here, which I just don't think that that's acceptable. It's so hot. So I've only been in Dallas for about 24 hours, but so far it is very Dallas. My hotel has a cowboy hat in it, in case I left mine at home. And there is a quote from President Bush on the mirror and on the ceiling. So that's definitely a first. So I'm here getting ready to teach at the Life Coach School training, which is awesome. I'm super excited to be here with my fellow coaches and my teacher. And, I trained here a few years ago, so it's really kind of wild to be on the other side of it. So today I want to teach you one of the best tools I learned from my teacher, and that is the power of asking better questions. Most of us are unconsciously asking ourselves terrible dead-end questions all the time. Like, why do things have to be this way? Why is it so hard to change? Why doesn't anyone love me? Why are my colleagues so terrible? Why are my parents so critical? Why is my kid so misbehaved? What could I have done differently? What would my life be like if I had not left that job or taken that job or not left that partner or gotten married or gotten divorced, right? If I made different decisions. These questions do nothing for you. They're essentially unanswerable. And the problem is that they accept your premises and your thoughts as true. Your problem isn't that you can't figure out why your boss is an asshole. Your problem is that you think he's an asshole in the first place and you believe that thought. Your problem isn't that you can't figure out why you're not married. Your problem is that you think it's a problem that you're not married and that it means something about you. Because these kinds of questions assume the premise of your thought or the premise of your question is true, they will never lead you to a solution. You will never figure out a satisfying answer to them. They are unanswerable. So they keep you ruminating forever, but you never ever get resolution. You never get an answer. You just keep swimming around in the negative feelings and negative thoughts caused by those questions. And once you asked your brain a question like that, you cannot stop thinking about it. Because the human brain does not like unanswered questions. Your brain thinks unanswered questions are dangerous. Any unknown to your lizard brain could be something that's going to eat you, right? The unmanaged mind does not do well with uncertainty. You may have noticed this about yourself. The human mind doesn't want to think there's anything out there that it doesn't know about that could be a threat. It's the same reason that risk and change and the unknown are all such triggers for emotional drama. Because evolutionarily, your brain doesn't want to think that there's anything it doesn't know. The unknown could always be something that will kill you. That's what your brain thinks. So if there's an unanswered question out there, something you don't know, it's going to obsess about it until it can determine if it's safe. But those questions you're asking it, that determination never comes. The opposite of a dead-end question is a powerful question. And a powerful question has a positive, or at the very least, a neutral assumption baked in. It gives rise to productive action, or to more positive or neutral emotion, or ideally both. So examples of powerful questions are, what are the next 3 steps I can take to move me towards my goal? How much evidence can I find that I am loved? Why would I be a great catch for someone? How do I want to think and feel about this situation? How can I create what I want? How can I make this more fun? What is the solution to this problem? What is perfect about this? You can see how all of those questions, number 1, contain a positive or neutral premise, and number 2, they prompt your brain to come up with positive outcomes or thoughts. I also like to play with something I learned from a coaching colleague called affirmations. So it's a kind of silly name, but bear with me. So an affirmation is like an affirmation, but it's asked as a question to stimulate your brain to come up with positive responses. So you guys know I don't really teach affirmations because I think that if you are trying to believe a positive affirmation that you don't believe yet, it's actually counterproductive because you don't believe it, so you don't get any emotional payoff, right? Your body doesn't feel any different. And then you just sort of lose hope and you're kind of worse off than when you started.
If you are loving the podcast and what you're learning here, then you are going to absolutely die for my book, Take Back Your Brain: How a Sexist Society Gets in Your Head and How to Get It Out. I truly believe that this book became an instant national bestseller because it is so concrete and actionable and illuminating so that you actually are learning why your brain is the way it is and you're learning how to change it. I wrote every single word myself. I read the audiobook myself. So if you are loving the podcast, you are going to love the book. And the book is really a one-stop shop for how to understand exactly why your brain works the way it does and how to actually change it. You can get it wherever books are sold, and you're going to be able to take this work so much deeper and learn so many new concepts and tools and exercises that aren't part of the podcast, because that's how publishing contracts work. That I just know that if you love the podcast, you're going to love the book too.
The reason that I think affirmations can work where affirmations don't is that you are not telling yourself to believe a thought. You're asking yourself a question that your brain will then find reasons to answer. And when your brain finds the evidence to answer it, you will be able to believe it. So, examples of affirmations are, why am I so lucky? Why am I so grateful? Why am I so successful? Why am I so sexy? Why does my partner love me so much? Why am I so proud of my kids? Why am I such a good doctor or lawyer or executive or wife or mother or daughter or friend? Right? So the affirmation version that wouldn't really work would be like, I'm lucky, I'm successful, I'm sexy, right? You don't believe those yet, so those don't work, just stating them like that. But when you ask them in a form of a question, your brain will look for reasons to answer it. It's just automatic. So we're basically using your brain to your advantage against its bias for the negative itself. And the questions sound kind of funny when you read them in a list, but if you try using them, you will find that they stimulate your brain to come up with reasons. Remember, your brain doesn't like an unanswered question. It wants to think that it knows everything already. So you ask it a question that will prompt self-affirming responses. So when should you use this tool? It's important to understand that you won't always know that you are asking yourself a dead-end question, because sometimes it's subconscious. But anytime you're feeling anxious or guilty or hopeless or self-pitying, that's a good time to check in with yourself and see what questions are rattling around in your brain. Anytime you're in emotional childhood where you think that other people control or cause your feelings or things outside of you, you probably have a few dead-end questions up in there. And anytime you notice a dead-end question, you can change it on purpose to a more powerful question. You can also use this tool when you aren't asking yourself a question, but you're thinking dead-end thoughts, right? Any thought about not knowing how to do something, for instance, can be changed into asking yourself a powerful question instead. So for instance, if your brain says, I don't know how to move forward, you can ask yourself, how can I move forward? Or what would I need to do to move forward? Or what's the next thing I would do if I knew I would succeed? If your brain says, I don't know how to do this about something, you can ask it something like, what are the next 3 steps I would need to take to learn how to do this? Or what would someone do if they knew they could figure this out? I know this sounds simplistic, but I really urge you to try it. You will be blown away at how your brain automatically responds, even though a minute ago it was telling you the opposite. Honestly, a lot of what I do as a coach is ask people questions that they haven't thought to ask themselves. And sometimes those are unexpected, right? A lot of the magic of coaching is that I put things together and make connections and ask questions that never occurred to you that help you understand what your thoughts are and why you are acting the way you are. But sometimes my questions are kind of obvious, and it's just the act of turning it into a question that prompts my clients' brains to get going. So I use these questions in my coaching all the time. Anytime you are feeling stuck or ruminating on a dead-end question or fixated on not wanting things to be the way they are, stop and ask yourself a better question. Your brain wants to answer questions. So rather than feed it unconscious negative questions, choose to feed it conscious, powerful questions instead. Use the machine up in there to your advantage. All right, y'all. If you're someplace that's 105 degrees, stay cool. And if you're someplace cold, stay warm. And I will talk to you next week.
If you're loving what you're learning on the podcast, you have got to come check out the Feminist Self-Help Society. It's our newly revamped community and classroom where you get individual help to better apply these concepts to your life, along with a library of next-level, blow-your-mind coaching tools and concepts that I just can't fit in a podcast episode. It's also where you can hang out, get coached, and nerd out about all things thought work and feminist mindset with other podcast listeners just like you and me. It's my favorite place on earth, and it will change your life, I guarantee it. Come join us at www.unfuckyourbrain.com/society. I can't wait to see you there. Did you know that Take Back Your Brain, my first book, is available on hardcover, ebook, and audiobook? And I read the audiobook myself. So if you love the podcast, you are going to want to make sure that you get a copy of Take Back Your Brain, How a Sexist Society Gets in Your Head and How to Get It Out. It is everything you need to understand your brain and change your brain, start to finish, in one book. It is available wherever books and audiobooks are sold. And if you love it, all I ask is that you please leave us a review on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or Goodreads, wherever you get it from or wherever you share your thoughts about books. Those reviews really help the algorithms boost the book, show it to more people, share it, keep the book circulating longer. And we all know that every woman in the world needs to understand how to change her brain, not so that she can think what I want her to think, but so that she can decide for herself what to think. That's really what all of this work is about. That's what all of us are doing with the podcast. And that is now what the book is here to do as well.